The House just passed the Save America Act, which will make it harder for millions of Americans to vote, and every Republican just voted for it, including my opponent, Congresswoman Victoria Spartz. Here's what the bill does, and here's the talk around it. You might remember this bill's predecessor called just the SAVE Act last year, which failed. Well, this time around in 2026, it's called the Save America Act, which is basically the same thing with just a couple changes. The Republican politicians that are pushing this bill claim that there is a mass wave of illegal voting sweeping our elections across this country, which is verifiably untrue. In fact, it's basically non-existent. No state or federal court of law has proven any mass voter fraud by undocumented immigrants. In fact, it is already the law that non-citizens are already not allowed to vote. Let me repeat that. It is already a federal crime punishable by up to 5 years in federal prison. Shocker. This argument is just scare tactics for their real goal with this bill, which is voter suppression. On that note, we can't even get American citizens to vote in our elections. You think undocumented immigrants are risking their whole existence and their families lining up at the polls to vote in an election where they already can't vote? Regardless, Trump and other fascist politicians are putting a lot of pressure to pass this bill before the midterms, where they are expecting an unprecedented blue wave. And this is them trying to make it harder for people to vote as a desperate cling to power to hold on to their seats, instead of, just being popular and helping people. Now, voting rights experts say that this bill will make it harder, if not impossible, for more than 21 million Americans to vote. Not because they're here illegally, but because they can't access the paperwork needed to vote that this bill requires. This bill requires proof of citizenship, not proof of identity, which is a huge difference, meaning that your driver's license alone will not be enough to register to vote or to go vote. The law says that you'll need either a valid passport, a real ID with citizenship documentation on it, which, by the way, not all of them have, or an original birth certificate, a original social security card, or with your military ID, your CAC, with a U.S. military record of service showing your birthplace. And I want to emphasize this, if I wasn't clear enough, this goes for both registering to vote and actually voting on election day itself. So just for example, if you are a married woman or a trans person that just changed your name, you'll have to bring one of those documents with you and additional proof of why your current name does not match your birth certificate just to go vote. Just to be clear, they are adding all these extra steps of bureaucracy to make it harder for us to vote for a problem that doesn't exist. And the experts say that the way they got the 21 million number is because half of Americans don't have passports and millions more don't have their original birth certificate or their original social security card. Now the bill goes to the Senate, where the Democrats can filibuster, forcing the Republicans to have to get 60 votes before it passes. And all Democrats are pretty much on board against this, and even some Republicans are a little skeptical, but there is a lot of pressure coming from the White House. So let's make sure that we call our senators for what it's worth and demand them that they vote no on this bill. I'll put their numbers on screen here. And I'll be honest, I'd be very surprised if they did the right thing, but we've got to fight. And let's make sure that we vote out Congresswoman Spartz this November so we can fight for real election reform that makes voting easier, not harder. What Congress should be doing is making it to where we have automatic voter registration in this country and make Election Day a national holiday. That way we working people can take time off our jobs and go vote on Election Day. We also should overturn Citizens United, among other bills, to get corporate money out of our politics because we want a democracy, not an oligarchy. All right, everyone, make sure you go to our town hall in Kokomo tomorrow at 2:30. I'll put the graphic here. And make sure to go to jacksonfranklinforcongress.com to support this grassroots progressive movement. You can donate, you can sign up to volunteer. To help, every little bit helps us to flip this district this November and make sure that we have a system that places people over profits. Everyone, please share and repost this video and follow this account to stay updated with the events of the campaign. Also, huge shout out to Lisa Remillard, I hope I'm saying that right, for her awesome video covering this bill. Make sure to go give her a follow. That's where I learned about many of the provisions in this bill. So she's awesome. Thank you very much. And everyone, take care.